Hello, financial fans. It is raining in the Nashville area today, and tomorrow we're supposed to have thunderstorms. And other than that, everything is going fine. And I'll repeat, one of the best investments you can make right now is to grow a garden, have fruit trees in your yard if you have the ability to have such things, because the future at the grocery stores might contain some empty shelves, so grow some of your own food if you can. Yesterday I sold 2 stocks. This is April 5th. This is the 66th anniversary of my arrival in Los Angeles with $400 in my pocket. Actually, it wasn't $400, it was $400 worth of traveler's checks in my pocket, and I made the right decision. I was 17 and I left home, and for me that was the right thing to do at that time. Had a wonderful family, a wonderful opportunity to stay in Louisville, Kentucky and become wealthy enough for my needs, but I wanted to see Hollywood and do some things, which I did, and I was fortunate to be able to do so many things 66 years ago. And I remember that getting off the bus and starting my new life. But what I'm looking at right now, these are the stocks I own, but first I'll mention the stocks I bought and sold yesterday, April 4th. I bought 2 stocks, I sold 2 stocks. The 2 stocks that I sold were Sun, S-U-N, that's Sunoco, and I can tell you the only reason I sold it, the only reason is the tax forms that are needed each year. I just have a very small amount of money invested in Sunoco, but the tax forms, Schedule K, page after page after page of information for even if you only make $1 or even if you lose $1 or break even, whatever, lots of pages of forms for taxes. So I sold Sunoco and I sold EPD, which was also a partnership, and any partnership I'll try to avoid in the future. But I did make a good profit on SUN, and I made a good profit on EPD, so I sold them yesterday. And I bought BTG, that's a gold mining stock. They dig gold out of the ground and sell it. BTG I bought at $4.72, and I bought NRG, NRG, I bought at $37.83. I sold Sunoco for $40.97 and about $41, and I sold EPD for $25.97.6, let's say $26. So only a slight change in the portfolio there. 2 out and 2 in, and I'll mention the names of the stocks that I own. And as far as what I see in the future for the stock market, everyone is putting up videos telling how the stock market's going to crash and fall apart and everything. So with that in mind, I will assume that that means the stock market is going to be going up. And what the market is what stocks you happen to own in your portfolio. That is your market, and your market might be different from mine and different from the Dow 30 or the S&P 500. Yesterday my portfolio was up more than, percentage-wise, was up more than the S&P 500. Today my portfolio is down more than the S&P 500. And the S&P 500, if you're going to start somewhere, just start following the S&P 500, which would be an exchange traded fund, SPY, or exchange traded fund, VOO. I own both of those. Those are the exchange traded funds that they try to mimic the S&P 500 performance. And as far as for the year, my portfolio is up a teensy weensy bit. Even though it's down today, it's still up from the end of last year. And the S&P 500 is still down for the year. So I'm doing better. So far, my portfolio is doing better than the S&P 500 for the year. But whether that continues or not, I do not know. Can you hear the choo-choo train whistle there in the distance? Stocks I own, AGNC. This also includes exchange traded funds. I own AGNC, I own ARCC, I own ARK, a bunch of ARK stocks. And with trading now, I can own stocks without owning a whole lot of shares. I can own just a tiny bit of shares since there's not a commission charged on the trade. I can buy ARKF, ARKG, ARKK, ARKW, ARKQ, ARKX. I can buy all those, which I have done, and I didn't pay any commission on it. Now they've all gone down in value, but I'm still expecting ARK stocks to continue. So stocks I own: AGNC, ARCC, ARKF, ARKG, ARKK, ARKQ, ARKW, and ARKX. Let's get past the arcs here. And I own ASX and BETZ bets. That's a gaming stock for gambling. BETZ bets. And I own BIDU. BIG is Big Lots. I expect something good to happen there sometime in the not too distant future, but it's been a down stock since I've owned it. BNGO, which is down a lot since I first bought it. BP, that one's up a little bit, a little over 2% since I own it, but it pays a really good dividend, and I do recommend now, with inflation being a reality, check the price of orange juice and compare it to orange juice 1 month ago. Same with meat, of course. All sorts of things. There is inflation in the market, and the best way I think to beat inflation is to have stocks that pay a nice dividend and that are upwardly mobile stocks, companies that we have trusted for years. Hang on to stocks that have good dividends, good stocks with good dividends. But BP happened to be one of those stocks. I held on to it for years and years, and it's still paying a good dividend. BTG, that's one of the stocks I bought yesterday. It's already in the red. It's down a little bit. The gold mining stock. BTI is up nicely, and C, which is Citigroup, is down about 11% since I bought it. CAG, ConAgra, I do expect that stock to do well in the future. I expect them all to do well in the future. CHY, what a great performing stock that has been for me. It's up over 25% since I bought it, plus it pays a good dividend. CIG I own, CIM I own, DHT I own, Dow, D-O-W, not Dow 30, but Dow, the chemical company. I own that, and that's up very nicely since I bought it a few months ago. DRIV, that's one of the electric vehicle stocks, and it's down. By the way, all the electric vehicle stocks are down today, and they have been on a downtrend for the past couple of months. But I do expect the electric vehicle stocks to do well at some time in the future. It might be a long wait, but I think a patient person can make money investing in electric vehicles. ENLC I own. ET, what is ET? Energy Transfer. Energy stocks should do well, banking stocks should do well, oil stocks should do well in the next 2 or 3 months. FB, that stands for Facebook. It has a new name, Meta Platform or something like that, but Facebook, and it's up nicely for me. I've had it for a long time. FRO, I own. GILD, Gilead, I own. GM, General Motors, I own. GOOG, that's Google. It's up, what in the world does that say? Here's my magnifying glass. GOOG is up almost 11% since I bought it. So, moving on. By the way, I have only one share of GOOG, but I have it. HAIL is another electric vehicle stock. I have that. KARS, cars, electric vehicles. Crane shares electric vehicles and future mobility index ETF, exchange traded funds. So KARS I own. It's electric vehicle stock. It's down over 25% since I bought it. But when electric vehicles make their big comeback, maybe a year from now, talk to me about a year from now, we'll see how it's doing. KEY I own. LCID. LCID is electric vehicle stock. That one is up for me. I bought it when it was very low. LIT, which is an electric vehicle stock because it's lithium batteries. MBT I own. MFC I own. MO I own. MRK I own. NIO electric vehicle stock. I own that. And that's let's see how much of my portfolio that is. That's probably about 5% of my portfolio, NIO, N-I-O, and I'm expecting good things in that, even though right now I'm down a lot, about 13% on NIO. I'll make it about 23%. But NIO, it's not uncommon for NIO to go up or down 5-7% a day. Let's see what's next. NLY, Annaly pays a high dividend. I own that. NRG I own. NVS I own. NYCB I own. OGN I own. OMF I own. PAGP. Paramount, P-A-R-A, it's up very, very nicely, about 20% since I bought it. I used to work for Paramount. I've had more money paid to me from Paramount than from any other company, and not just in stocks. What is this? PBR, I own. That's been doing very well. PGR has been doing very well. PM has been doing very well. PRNT is 3D printing, and it's down a lot. QCCM, and that's Qualcomm. QCOM. QCOM is Qualcomm, I own that. RTX Raytheon. They've done very, very nicely for me, up more than 35%. Up more than 37%. SBSW I own. SID I own. It's up a little bit. SMFC I own. SPY, that's the S&P 500, and it's down for the year. And that's an exchange traded fund. T is AT&T, and it's down tiny little bit for me. TEF is down a little teensy-weensy bit. TTOO is down, I own that. UFO, which is Space Technology Exchange Traded Fund, and it's down a lot since I bought it. UMC, is that, what is that? is that UMC? I think that's UMC. UMC, and that's down since I bought it. And VALE, performing very, very, very well. I bought that at a bargain price, and it's doing well. VEV, electric vehicle, that one is down since I bought it. VNQ is up a little bit since I bought it, and that's a Vanguard Real Estate exchange traded fund. VOO is the S&P 500. That's the Vanguard version of the S&P 500. The VTI, I own VTRS, I own VZ, Verizon I own. WKHS, my biggest loser as far as percentage wise so far. Workhorse, WKHS, that's a electric vehicle, electric trucks. I'll hold on to that for a couple of years probably. X is doing very well right now. X is US Steel. XOM is Exxon Mobil. They're doing quite well. I'm up with that one. And XRX is Xerox, and it's down a little bit since I bought it. But those are all the stocks that I own, all the exchange traded funds that I own. I think this market's got a good 3 or 4 months ahead of it, unless there's a new news item that comes out that we don't know about yet. I don't think COVID can beat this market. I think COVID has had its major effect on the market, and in the future the COVID influence on the market, I think, will cease to exist. And the war in Ukraine with Russia, that could have a huge effect on the market depending on what happens. The election coming up in November, that's going to have an effect on the market. Some of what we see in the market right now is already written in from the November 2022 elections yet to take place. Some of what hasn't quite happened yet is assumed to being a foregone conclusion, and the market has already factored some of that in. So don't be surprised if something happens in the electioneering for 2022, and the market doesn't pay much attention to it because it's probably already factored in. So with that in mind, I will say thank you very much for watching.